Waco always gives us a crazy finish.
Han and Burr, huh? Tie ball game, boy. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh my. There it is, folks. That's game over.
The season kicked off in Florida, and now we are starting the Texas Swing. The Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy is underway. We are at the Beast in Waco, Texas. And boy, I'll tell you what, we got some hot scoring to start in hot temperatures around 80 degrees in Waco right now. And we're going to get right out onto the course because we have seen some big numbers today. Nathan Queen, looking great. Former Pro Tour champion, and he is tied for the lead at the moment. We're going to take a look at his drive on the 14th. So he puts it inside the circle. He's got this putt to take the solo lead. Just a little bit low. Camera's finding him at this point, maybe starting to think about how well he's shooting. We go to the 15th. Here's the upshot. He played it short of this new OB area. So he gets it inside the circle, and this time birdie, and he takes the solo lead at 12 under par. Calvin Heimberg, hours ago now, carded an 11 under par. He's in the clubhouse. So Queen sitting at 12 down, upshot on 16, out of bounds. He would go on to take a bogey on the 16th, dropping him back into a tie for the first at 11 under. We go to 17. Iconic hole out here at Waco. And a nice tee shot for Queen, so he's in position looking for another birdie. Take a look at this scorecard, and Brian, break it down. Lefty killing it out here.
He is the lefty's lefty. This is an all backhand lefty player, and there's a lot of people rooting for him with that play style, and he holds it down for us. And out here at Waco, you'd think there's a big advantage of having counterclockwise spin, but there are some holes that don't play to his advantage. 18 is that example.
All right, we're going to check in as well with Adam Hammis. He's been putting together a great round. We go to the 18th. And he knocks down the putt. That was for his third birdie in a row. So he closed out a bogey-free 11 under. So he is tied in the clubhouse with Calvin Heimberg and Clay Edwards at that number. Nathan Queen, of course, still on the course. He's got his upshot coming on 17 in just a moment. And look at these scores. Double-digit scores all over the place. As we welcome you inside of our broadcast booth, good afternoon, everybody. So glad to be with you alongside Brian Earhart. I am Charlie Eisenhood. And Brian, this is one of the shortest courses on tour. And look at the scoring early. Like, what do you make of this event? We're just getting started.
Well, we've been here since 2017, and this course is relatively unchanged since 2017. I checked back in with a lot of the pros playing this tournament just to see how they still felt coming back here. The sentiment, overwhelming, almost no negative feedback. They love this place. They want to come out here. They want to play short woods golf, and they like the sprint. I think it's a great change-up for the rest of the tour, and I think all the players feel that.
It's interesting. I saw somebody say that if all the courses were like this, it wouldn't be great. But with one like this, it's perfect. It's a great fit. We're going to join now with the third member of our broadcast team. Nate Perkins is out on the course. He'll be breaking it down for us from the fairways all weekend long. And Nate, you know, we're always going to be talking about wind here at Waco. The scoring seems to suggest it's not too bad out there. What are you seeing?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Charlie. You wouldn't know that the wind is ripping as it is with looking at those double-digit numbers, but that just kind of shows you what you have to do to get it done out here in Waco. I'm standing on the tee of 1 right now, and this morning for FPO, it was kind of a straight headwind up the gap. Right now, the wind is coming out of the west, straight over the limestone bluffs across the river. So it kind of takes that hyzer play out, and it's making players overthink it. And all the while, it's just not consistent. Right now, it's low. It's under 10 miles per hour. But as soon as a player's name gets called, it's ripping 25, 30 miles per hour again. So as you said it, we're going to be talking about the conditions all day long. It's the biggest factor to determine how difficult the course is today.
Thank you, Nate. As we take a look at our Canna current conditions. Canna, the solution for growth and bloom. Learn more at canna.com. Yeah, it's steamy out there.
A little bit steamy. We certainly are in Texas this time of year. And like Perkins said, this is the biggest thing the players have to deal with is the wind. We are right here on hole 1 with Paul, looking to attack the course.
Macbeth looking great in an all-Luna practice round. And looking great here on hole number 1.
Flawless play in the wind there. That was solid.
Well, there is your leaderboard. We got a lot of players still to get out on the course. Could we see somebody get to 12, 13? Who knows? Maybe even better than that. 15 under would tie the course record. We'll see if it can happen. Macbeth shot an 18 down here. They changed the pars. We'll be back. Waco round 1 coming up.
Bend the reality of what a disc can be and discover Ultra Soft plastic. With its extreme flexibility and tackiness, Ultra Soft has the best grip and flex of any plastic Prodigy has ever made. Take on cold or wet weather with confidence behind every shot. We are excited to add 300 Ultra Soft to the lineup, which joins 400 and 500 Ultra Soft. Check out the entire collection today on ProdigyDisc.com or your local retailer.
Success is not linear. It takes time and it takes belief. A belief that there is no ceiling and that the bar can always rise higher. A belief that if you set your sights to the horizon, the future will meet you there. That no matter who you are or what you've done, there's always something to prove. Disc golf was built on the backs of people who dream. And out here, what started as a dream is now a decade-long catalyst that turns dreams to moments. In our 10th season, we invite you to join us as we celebrate this beautiful game and all the moments that make it great. Catch all the action, all season long, live on the Disc Golf Network.
The number one reason I switched from bag to cart is pretty simple. It takes weight off of my back, easier to play a course.
I realized that the cart became something I really needed when little things would happen. I'd pick up my bag and my elbow would hurt.
Using a cart decreases the bending over, the weight on my lower back. Decide to go with Suka, and seeing that my sciatic nerve is gone and I don't need to worry. Only one thing I have to worry about to get birdie, because my Suka done it all for me.
Discraft built for flight. Built for flight.
The Waco Annual Charity Open is presented by Prodigy. Find your flight. Well, we're glad to be with you on the Disc Golf Network, live on the JomezPro YouTube channel today. So if you're joining us from Jomez, thanks for being here. Don't worry, post-produced coverage still coming your way tomorrow. As always, no changes there. But we wanted to let you know about the DGN live coverage and the fact that you can save right now if you sign up for an annual subscription. Now through the end of the weekend, use code SAVE3months when you subscribe yearly to DGN Standard or DGN Pro, and save more than you could any other time of year. If you're a PDGA member, you also get a discount there, so check out the options at discgolfnetwork.com. Beautiful day in Waco, Texas. We've had some cold, wintry Wacos in the past, but not so this week, Brian. Getting ready for our second feature card to tee off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2025 Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy. It's time for our 325 card. First on the tee, put your hands together for Niklas Antila.
Niklas out of Kuopio, Finland. Finished second here last year. Of course, has fond memories of playing in Texas. Got his first Pro Tour win just down the road in Austin.
I think Paul kind of gave us the blueprint of how to play this wind. Something stable, just a tick of turn. Yeah. Beautiful.
Trickles back down the hill.
Put your hands together for Kevin Jones.
And a hyzer player like Kev is going to really have to be mindful of this wind. He's got that tail crossed to the left, kind of dragging him to the out of bounds.
Jones finished fifth here in 2023.
Oh, that is a flippy disc he sent out there. That was close.
Third on the tee, put your hands together for Gavin Rathbun.
Gavin finished in the top 10 back in 2021 here at Waco, coming off his best season as a pro. Nice looking drive inside the circle.
Rounding out our 325 time, put your hands together for Bradley Williams.
Williams took down the 2022 Preserve.
Pretty shot.
And the best drive of the group.
Good luck, gentlemen. Have a great round.
I hope the next card was looking at those guys throwing those tee shots. That's exactly how you want to attack this course. And the best part about this course is you can orient yourself very easily. That's what the wind's going to be doing on 2. It's what it's going to be doing on 3, 4, 5. Until you turn that corner on 10, you know exactly where the wind's going.
We're going to send it back down to Nate Perkins. He is walking with Gavin Rathbun. Nate?
Well, yeah, I'm here with Rathbun, and I show up to the course yesterday, and all I can hear is this talk of this whatnot broadcast that's going on. Can you talk to us about what went down in the Waco parking lot?
Man, we have this new thing. It's a parking lot special. I set up my whatnot live stream. If you don't follow me, it's Gavin Rathbun 17, and yeah, we pretty much party. It's a great way for all of us touring disc golfers to get rid of some discs. And we just have a really good time in there.
Gavin, how's the nerves right now as Kev steps up to his putt?
I'm nervous. Learning the new bag. This is a little bit more wind than I've played in with them. But we're going to take it one shot at a time and have a bunch of fun today.
Thanks for your time, man. Good luck.
Jones knocks down the birdie.
Yeah, it's funny you hear Gavin talking about disc in his bag that he's still working on mastering. There were a couple slots that he had filled for quite some time, and now switching to a company after going mixed bag, it's a bit of a process moving away from some of your gems that you've had for a while.
Putting can be an adjustment too.
Little headwind here. And there's the lift. You kind of have to putt underneath the wind on that.
Nicholas checking the wind even at this distance. Good sharp putt. He cards the birdie.
I would say one of the least intimidating opening shots on tour, but when the wind is blowing like this off the river, it is one you have to respect.
We go back over to 17. We saw the tee shot earlier in the broadcast. Here's the up shot on 17 for Queen a moment ago.
Thank you.
That's a thing of beauty right there.
Birdie putt for the outright lead. Yes, sir. Nathan Queen bounces back after the bogey, and he is up a stroke on Heimberg, Hammes, and Clay Edwards. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back.
Bomb Discs is Kentucky's disc golf headquarters. If you're ever in town, you gotta come check us out. But until then, you can find us online at bombdisc.com.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket, and each of them have a consistent grip. So as you cycle through the series, you won't have to change the way that you hold the disc. These are torque-resistant discs that are more stable than the PA series, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself.
If you want to know what a disc is going to feel like before you get it, you have to check out OTB disc. The first thing I'm looking for when I grab a new disc is the feel of the disc. It's got to be confidence instilled. Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
It's really, really helpful in not only finding a disc that looks beautiful, but is also exactly what you're looking for it to feel like. Of course, when you're dealing with OTB, you're going to get only the best.
If you design, if you test, if you manufacture, there is only one technology partner you need. TriMet Group is the leading provider of design, engineering, and manufacturing solutions for thousands of companies across North America and Europe. Innovation starts here. TriMetGroup.com.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Well, do you want to play a practice round with Matty O in Austin, Texas? One lucky local winner will get the chance to hit the course with one of the most exciting players on tour ahead of the Open at Austin. Scan the QR code or visit @OpenAtAustin on Instagram to enter the giveaway. It ends on March 16th, and a winner will be selected on March 17th. That's Monday. So I predict there will be some first downs, Brian.
I would have to say so. I would have to say it might be one of the highlights of someone's life.
Speaking of Matty O, well, we'll check in with him in a bit. Nathan Queen on the 18th. He's got the solo lead at 12 under par. Oh, that's getting pushed around in the wind.
Yeah, that crosswind just got him, and this is where being a lefty is just brutal, especially being backhand only.
So he goes out of bounds. Here's the third shot.
Now fighting into a direct headwind, and oh yeah, that's going to be just fine.
So he's on the green, and he taps in for bogey, and that leaves him tied at 11 under with Heimberg, Hammes, and Edwards.
And that's what's exciting about this course. You have this sprint of a 16-hole track, and then you get to the final two holes, and those are always the ones that are playing well over par and scoring as the hardest as they are today.
Nico Locastro, former champ here, 2021. 10 under par effort. Ezra Aderhold, I mean, hot scoring. Greg Barsby has been playing great here. He shot a 12 under in round 1 last year. He's 9 down through 14. Dickerson, 8 under through 13. Linus Carlson, 7 under through 10. So some seriously hot shooting. Jones parks it.
Yeah, this second shot, especially with this wind, is going to be pretty simple. You just get to throw something straight, overstable, let it fight the wind. And that was a little bit lackluster from Brad Williams. Didn't really give it the height.
Bullseye for Rathbun.
Nice to play on that side of the basket when the winds are this high. You now have the tailwind back. Advice that the great Ken Climo used to give all the time. Pick that side of the basket where the wind gives you the nicest putt.
So 7 players already double digits under par, all in the clubhouse. Dickerson just got a birdie on the 14th, so he's up to 9 under through 14 as well. Williams, yes! Great putt in the wind. Look at that headwind that he had to deal with. Take a look on the Zuka replay.
It's hard to trust your equipment, especially putting like this, above the basket like that. That's some trust in the wind and trust in the disc. Nice putt.
Antla in for birdie. So he and Williams both 2 down through 2. Rathbun gets a birdie on the board. And Kevin Jones also 2 for 2 start. Well, coming up in just a moment, lead card. We got a great one for you. Gannon Burr, Zach Nash, Luke Humphreys, Ezra Robinson. It's all happening here. Waco, round 1.
Hey, aren't you Anthony Barella?
Yes, sir. Try out this Venom.
Thanks, man.
Ooh, Calvin, looking good today.
Calvin Heimberg.
Sorry, hey, oh, sorry, hello, hey, thank you. A Nakwa, I'm looking for a Nakwa. Do you have one?
Hey, Germ, you can't cut in line.
My apologies, you may have noticed I just cut you in line. I'm just looking for a Nakwa.
A Nakwa? Here, use mine.
Got it, thanks.
Man, it's the best that's ever. It goes 1,000.
Hey, hurry up, man. You're taking forever.
Sorry, man. No 30-second rule here. What about that 100% off player discount?
Gannon Burr, huh? Tie ball game, boy. I'll see you tomorrow. Luke Humphrey's calling out Gannon Burr.
If you're Luke Humphreys, I like the confidence, but be careful what you wish for. That's a scary proposition when it comes to Gannon.
Well, what a battle it was last year between Gannon Burr and Luke Humphreys. Gannon really kicking off an unbelievable season with his win here at Waco. 9 wins on the year last year.
I don't think anybody thought the bar could rise that high. And for years, it was Paul Rick setting the bar for everybody else. And now it feels like the target is solely on Gannon Burr's back. And he's the one everybody's having to chase.
And how about Luke Humphreys here at Waco? I mean, this has been his best tournament as a pro by far.
He loves this place. And I talked to him. He said there's that nostalgic feeling. He loves coming back here. The course barely changes. He's a Texas local. And this is his bread and butter style as well.
He had a 1-shot lead going into 18 last year. It was a 4-round event over at Lake Waco. And he ended up going out of bounds, took a bogey. Gannon got a birdie. And even closer than the time before as we check in with Greg Barsby, who's putting for birdie on 15. Misses the putt, but a very difficult putt into the headwind there. Look at this round, bogey free.
Not too shabby, especially the direction of the wind on this back 9. Just got to stay strong, 16, 17, 18.
And if you just looked at the 2 rounds from the Beast last year, Greg Barsby would have won. 22 under through 2 rounds, and a lot of different kinds of names up double digits, average back-to-back rounds. Not just your stars like Gannon Burr. Old man Nate Sexton, unfortunately, dealing with a little bit of tendonitis right now. Couldn't make it out this year, but it's too bad. He could have been in the mix. See what he did last year.
This is the hardest tournament to predict all year. I mean, you're rolling the dice, picking someone to win this tournament.
Go to the 16th.
Added OB this year, so this is a very different change. You're not going to be seeing these all or nothing rollers like you used to see. Still scoring pretty You don't want to say soft, but it's definitely scoring like a pretty simple par 4. What a gorgeous shot along the Brazos River, that beautiful limestone bluff on the left. It's a really unique course that these players play, up and down the river the entire way.
Let's go down to the tee for our lead card introductions.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2025 Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy. It's time for your feature card. First on the tee, put your hands together for Gannon Bird.
Gannon had mentioned to us earlier in the week, to win here, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, you just need consistency. Throws a lot of forehands out here.
Outside the circle putt.
Put your hands together for Ezra Robinson.
Ezra, 2 weeks ago, winning for the first time on tour at the Supreme Flight Open. 1074 event rating. New high for him.
30 to 40 mile an hour gusts right now. That's got to get down. Outside circle too, just getting beat down.
Put your hands together for Zach Nash.
Zach Nash from Waco, Texas.
Zach is an extremely impressive thrower of the backhand. We'll discuss his throwing style a little bit more later, but just a beautiful tight line that he's able to throw. And there you go.
Laser beam to the pin.
Put your hands together for Luke Humphreys.
2 second-place finishes here at Waco. Just missed out on making the Tour Championship last year. He was the bubble player, 33rd.
He's going to be throwing this disc a lot. It's one of those mid-range putter hybrids. He's had this in his bag for years, and he's thrown it out here at these big performances here at Waco quite a bit.
Let's go to the third. Kevin Jones looking for his 3rd birdie in a row to start his day.
Spinner's not going to be working for Kev here. A little bit on that left side. Taking another look. Yeah, definitely wouldn't call this a cut through. Short left.
Outside C2, very long look for Robinson.
I mean, he's given us a show from that range before. Got to be careful on the longer runs. You don't want to see yourself with a 30 mile an hour headwind 15, 20 feet long. Okay, a little bit of a cross. Got to keep it flat.
A little bit low for Burr. Jones for par. Weak side chain out.
And here's the comeback here for Ezra. Still work left.
And that floated on him big time.
It's going to happen a lot out here if you're not careful. You get back to the woods and you start to feel like you have to get these birdies, because out here, even the simplest hole like 1 can end for a bogey double for even some of the best players in the world.
Humphreys and Nash in for their birdies. Gannon gets the par, and a disappointing bogey to start for your Supreme Flight Open champ, Ezra Robinson. To the fourth.
And looks like we're back in Finland on a hole like this. Short technical par 4. Rough spot to land. That's going to be a stretch out backhand, but still definitely opportunity for birdie.
Second shot for Barsby on 16.
Textbook. What are you thinking about this this new OB on 16? First thoughts?
Well, I kind of want to see it get played a little bit first. For FPO, I don't think it had too much of an impact, but I think it's more of a decision factor for MPO. So I think it could be quite good. More risk reward. Couple eagles on 16 today. Anthony Barella and Corey Ellis.
Going to have that nice tail cross right here on 2. Zach Nash with a missile up that left side. A lot of trees have come down out here. The course has thinned out quite a bit. Luke said especially in the woods. When you get to 4, you'll see a pretty big difference off the fairways. And that's going to be way, way left for Mr. Humphreys.
That's out of bounds. Gannon finds the fairway tree.
Got to keep it low. It looked like he slipped in the tee pad, but the release did not look like it was affected at all.
Yeah, Gannon checking his shoes as well.
Well, and these, you know, at least Gannon played in that tournament last week at the Hideaway, and that was, a lot of players said, was the worst conditions they had ever played in. Caked in mud.
Well, we're going to send it down now to the clubhouse. Nate Perkins is with Nathan Queen after his 11 under today.
All right, we're here in the clubhouse with Nathan Queen. Nathan, 8 down through 7, dude. You got to talk about it. What was it like?
Yeah, I started off throwing well, putting myself just outside bullseye, a lot of 12-footers. I got first 5 holes just according to plan. Hole 6, I missed release but got a little lucky and was able to take advantage and still get the birdie. And I put 7. I just threw the drive how I wanted, got to the bottom of the hill, and that was my first real putt. Like I said, I was pretty close before that, and able to hit it from circle 2. And yeah, not often you get to say 8 down through 7.
No, absolutely not. You were the talk of the tournament there for a little bit. Now talk about the dynamic of starting the round off in the headwind and then coming back out of the woods and having the same wind in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it was pretty strange. Once you get done with 12, you come back out the opposite direction that you started, and we had a headwind again. It's kind of crossy. As you can see, it's kind of blowing at my back right now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty strange for here. Usually it follows the river pretty well, but headwind left to right for 13 through 16 is pretty different than normal.
Well, Queen, one of your better rounds on the Pro Tour in a couple years now. Talk to us about overall how you're feeling about being back and playing good golf.
Yeah, it's been a long couple years. The injury in 22 just took it. It didn't start off well with the recovery, and it's just taken a long time. It's nice to feel comfortable again. These last few months, I've been able to throw as much as I want to and not really be worried about it. So I definitely do feel more comfortable than I have the past couple years, and definitely feels good to get a hot round out. It's always good for you guys to want to talk to me.
All right, man. Well, congrats on the round, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Disc Golf Network.
Hey, appreciate it, guys.
Nathan Queen, 1067 provisionally rated right now after the 11 under today, and let's flash it back to the 2021 Tour Championship.
You can't show me this. This is my home course now, Charlie, and I'm telling you, these backhand lines he was nailing under pressure out here don't get done. Unreal. And then to get up here, hole number 18, bomb the shot. Yeah, just something special.
What a run it was.
You
Had
can't
to get
get
through
me goose.
multiple rounds of cuts and going up against the best in the world, and truly a super fun story from the last 5 years.
They got to warn me before they put that highlight reel on. That was special. Meanwhile, Humphreys, really solid approach there in the wind. Again, it's kind of ripping off the water. Forehand plays, you can kind of just let it get slapped down by the wind. Backhand's a little trickier.
Little stepper from Ezra, and he puts it under the basket. He was second on tour in fairway hits last year. First, his brother Isaac.
I mean, you play Sequoia out there in Georgia where they used to play a lot of disc golf, and you'll see why.
Barsby coming off the birdie on 16.
Solid shot, kind of low on the hill. A little bit trickier of a second shot. Nick Loss, this is an opportunity for birdie, but he's got to pull off something technical. Oh.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Great control from Antla. Nash ended up out of bounds as well after his tee shot, so he's throwing 3. He and Humphreys are going to have putts for par.
And this is a long look here for Gannon. Tricky crosswind. What a birdie this would be.
Antla tapped in the birdie on the 4th. Tee shot on 5.
Gets a nice little reverse skip off that hill. You can kind of count on it on number 5.
Splash out for Humphreys. And after going OB, that was for par, so he will tap in for bogey.
And this is the pressure of that course. Holes number 1 and 2, not menacing on paper.
The only birdie for our featured card, Ezra Robinson. That tee shot rides the elevator right to the basket.
And you can see by the way that disc was behaving, the wind is seeping into the woods. It's strong enough. And that makes this course play very challenging. But a beautiful shot there for Williams. That's a nice side of the basket. Longer putt than you'd like, but at least the wind's going to be kind of pushing in a good direction. Seeing a lot more players take this left side over the over the years. I like this play if you have the shot. Got to get it to kind of skip straight. Yeah, just a little bit too much angle. This is steep. He's going to have to give this a little bit of height. Wow. Look at that reaction. Slammed by the crosswind, catches up, thrown off into circle 2.
So
I like the idea, though.
Another long putt for Gannon. Still looking for his first birdie. Inside the circle for Humphreys.
That's one way to do it.
Well, Zach Nash, not a name you're going to see up on feature cards all that often. Does tend to show up here at Waco, but he's got some notable stats to his name. Tell us about it, Brian.
I mean, anyone who owns one of these launch monitors that are coming out these days, I'm talking about Tech Disc, Game Proofer, that measure your speed and spin when you throw into a net, your eyes are probably popping out of your head right now. Zach is currently undisputed highest RPM on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and potentially highest spin rate in the world on the backhand. Cresting 1,800, I think maybe the only person on the planet to do so. And this was a particular throw at USDGC. He was getting tracked 74 miles an hour, standard spin, or standard speed. Calvin Heimberg, Ricky Wysocki, standard speed for those guys, but 300 to 400 more RPM.
And what does that do to the flight of the disc?
So when you watch some of these guys with huge RPM rates like Zach or Garrett Gerthy, for example, Silas Schultz, you tend to note that the distance driver is looking like a fairway when it comes out of the hand. That it doesn't flip fast, doesn't fade fast. You kind of get these tighter lines, and that's what he's able to do. Stuff flies a bit more stable, but it still doesn't finish harshly.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that today as we watch Zach play here in the first round. A little uncommitted on the birdie bid. Antila trying to get his fourth birdie, and he's got it. 4 for 5 start for Niklas. Back with Barsby on 17.
Oh, this is a risky high forehand.
Green flag for Barsby. He's going to be out of position there for the birdie. But is anywhere out of position for Greg Barsby? Gannon close, but still not there, and he's already shaking his head. 3 straight pars.
And the tricky part, I'd like to talk to Perkins about the wind. It doesn't feel consistent right now, Perks. It feels like the gusts are coming in waves. What are you feeling right now?
Yeah, it's not too windy on the green of 3. It's still coming straight off the lake, probably 15. And Luke just getting caught up. It lifted last second into the band. And Gannon nearly made that with the perfect wind read, and Zach, after that kind of tentative look, has this, and this is a little bit more right to left than it is head. Not a very fun look on an elevated pin. Okay, but he's good for it. Yeah, as I'm sitting here talking, Brian, it starts to gust up, and Probably gets back to double. Ezra, good for the tailwind comebacker.
Humphreys stays home, and he gets the par as well. So our first feature card, Zach Nash leading the way at 1 under through 3. Everybody else even par. Here's Barsby for birdie.
Waiting for it to rise.
You know what? If you're going to miss, that's the best possible miss on this hole.
Antila for birdie. Yes. Nicholas, 5 through 6. So he's matching the early pace from our leaders. There's our leaderboard. Lots of double digits under par. Who's going to set the hot round today? We'll find out. Stay with us.
Bend the reality of what a disc can be and discover ultra soft plastic. Ultra soft has the best grip and flex of any plastic Prodigy has ever made. Check out the entire collection today on ProdigyDisc.com or your local retailer.
Hey everyone, Gannonber here, and I want to invite you to compete in the Power Disc Golf Academy Championship Series. This is the only professional and amateur nationwide disc golf series, and everyone is welcome to compete. Qualifier events will be held in cities across North America. If you place high enough at a qualifier event, you'll earn the invitation to compete in our championship event at Eagles Crossing Disc Golf Course. Scan this QR code for dates and locations of the qualifying events. We hope to see you there.
If disc golf is your game, make Gotta Go, Gotta Throw your Disc Golf warehouse with a huge selection of discs, bags, baskets, carts, and more. Everything you need for the game you love. Online or at our Minnesota store. Gotta Go, Gotta Throw.com, your disc golf warehouse.
Hey, did you find everything all right today? Really?
Shopping online should be easy. That's why we built the best experience possible. Easy navigation, powerful filters, and lightning fast shipping, all at the best prices. 1010 Discs, reimagining excellence.
Disc Golf Network's live coverage of round 1 of the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy continues. Ezra Robinson teeing off on 4.
I love this little par 4. Got to get it to bend the corner left, but you kind of have to like calm the fade down a little bit. You want it to stop right in the middle there. Go too far left, you don't really have anything. There's OB. Yeah, it's no chance of a birdie from there. That's just going to be a kind of a boring chip around the corner. Clips that tree on the inside. Still a decent spot.
You hear him say, I need some birdies. And that's the case. I talked to Nicholas earlier, and he said it's the most birdie or die course on tour. You can really feel the pressure of falling behind when you're not getting them.
Well, it challenges your ego a little bit, too. You start to think, I have to get this hole. I should be getting this hole.
All right, Barsby at 10 under. Can tie the leaders with a birdie here on 18. Playing it for par given the wind conditions. Here's Dickerson, who's also at 10 under, throwing his second on 17.
Nonchalant green flag there. No problem. Gannon's pretty far back here on 4. This is going to be a forehand, but he kind of has to push it forward. You can't really skip right. Oh. Almost got punished, but I think he's going to be in a great spot, Charlie.
I think it got stopped by that last little root trunk. I just want to go back to the green flag thing real quick. I much prefer that to the crazy guy, crazy flag guy, just personally.
Roll back to the right. That's going to be tricky.
And Dickerson gets the birdie to stick on the right side from 31 feet. So he's at 11 under, going to 18.
There's almost no place on tour where you're going to see this many guys shooting an 11. Now Nash going slower disc. That's going to be just fine. Circle 1. One of the shortest par 4s that we're going to play all season long. And really not much of an option to eagle. This is a tricky spot. You think to yourself, I think I can actually get a birdie from here, but does he want to follow through enough and challenge his hand hitting that tree? Just takes a lot of body control. Yeah. Tough shot. Robinson going to have to go inside.
Well inside the circle. Looking to get back under par. So we saw Barsby just laying up along the water. Now he'll go over.
Over the years, they've called this a par 3. It used to be a 4. It hasn't changed the player's game plan one bit. A lot of players just never running the green on that hole.
Until his second ends up down in the valley. He'll be putting up for the birdie. More than a handful of eagles today on 7.
It's playing significantly under par. To me, at this point, when you look at the scoring spread, it's a par 3. It's thinned out enough to where I feel like you can say that safely.
So far today, averaging 3/4 of a stroke under par, as Barsby cards the par on 18. So he finishes up. He's tied for 6th at 10 under par.
You know, we say it's a chaotic field out here, but some players rise up above that chaos. And Barsby, like you said, if we just played this tournament here last year at this course, he'd win. He would have been the winner. So keeping the consistency going.
A couple of missed circle 1 putts for Barsby, but a great day otherwise. Got into the green in regulation on 16 of 18 holes. Nash. In for par. Nice save.
Zach's been out here on tour full time for a little bit now. He's gotten all those courses under his belt. Now coming back here to Texas. Oh boy. rough.
Tough par save putt coming up. There's Gannon's first birdie of the day. Robinson in for the birdie. And Humphreys takes a par, so he remains at even through 4. Par save for Antla. Further away than his birdie putt. It's lucky it didn't roll down again. To the 18th, Dickerson. Going over. He can take the outright lead with a birdie. Oh, and it was going to be close. We will have to wait to find out whether that was safe or not. Could be a big swing at the top of the leaderboard. But a great day for Dickerson. 11 for 11 Circle 1X putting, 1 for 1 from Circle 2. I talked to him this week and he said, if I'd had a better forehand, it would have helped me a lot the past years. And he says he's much more comfortable now. There's just some kind of mandatory forehands on this course for a right-handed player.
And hole 5 is kind of dealer's choice, whether you're throwing with the counterclockwise, the clockwise spin. You can play the backhand, and since it's angled just a bit, this hill, you can get that reverse skip if you miss a little bit left. It's very forgiving if you don't try to fly the green. And as you see, it's kind of eroded over the years, so the ground is very hard pack. It's very dry out here right now. This is a fun one to throw. This is one where the players kind of come out here, throw multiple shots. It's just an enjoyable one to toss. Yep, and there's that reverse skip inside circle. Ezra looks so solid with the putter in mid this year. He said the putter slot with Discraft is something he's trying to figure out right now. He's still kind of having tryouts, finding that mold that he's going to stick with for a while.
Hole 5 is playing as the 3rd easiest hole on the course. 61% of players getting birdie.
And I wonder if they're intentionally trying to play left and get that push. We saw Bradley do it, Ezra doing it. Now let's see the forehand here. It's a little bit more precise. That's about as precise as it gets, Charlie.
Absolutely perfect from Nash.
A little bit lower play. Not going to get the lift he was looking for, but it's a putt for birdie.
We go back to 18, and you can see Dickerson is range finding from the other side of the water. He did end up in the OB just barely. So he'll be throwing 3. At this point, just trying to save bogey. He'll be in circle 2. Humphreys for birdie.
Stop while I was standing there.
So Humphreys high again. Gannon in for the birdie, back to back.
And this is the part of the course you can kind of start rattling off the birdies. You can get 7 pretty easily. 6 is a short forehand down the hill. 8's the shortest hole in the course.
Humphreys in for par. Ezra gets a birdie. So that's back-to-back birdies for him. And 3 in the last 4 holes. Nash with the drop-in birdie. He's 2 down through 5. Go to the 8th. Kevin Jones putting for birdie just outside the circle. And that's vintage Kevin Jones. Back-to-back birdies for KJ USA, and he's 4 down.
He's one of those guys that would rather be just outside circle 1 than just inside. This is about 36, 37 feet. And Kevin's powerlifting. He's deadlifting when he putts like this from this stance. Keeps that left foot anchored as long as he can. But you hear him, when he explodes with both of his legs, he lets out this big gust of air, just like he'd be lifting. And he says that that's what he focuses on when he makes these putts.
Discover the difference at Disc Golf Deals USA with pictures and scaled weights of every disc, same-day shipping, rewards on every purchase, and expert reviews and comparisons. Your game, our passion.
Short little turn over here on 6. Based it. Perfect shot.
Well, let's take a look at this on the one-shot replay. I mean, it would be wrong for him to throw that 8 feet higher in the air, but if he had, it would have gone in the chain.
Maybe that'd be the perfect shot. 15-foot birdie putt, not too shabby. You don't have to throw the backhand turn over here. You can just chip a forehand. But that tends to be the miss. You miss inside. You don't get that push like Ezra's backhand did. I still think you have to flip it a tiny bit.
Fans can use the code DGPT to get 25% off their order at oneshotenergy.com and explore a wide range of energy chews, focus chews, and voice drops. Nash.
That's going to be tricky.
Back to 18. Uphill putt for Dickerson for bogey. And he knocks it down, so a perfect putting day for Chris Dickerson. Bogey free until 18. So he drops to 10 under. So that score graphic at the moment shows Dickerson at 11, but he should be at 10.
And Humphreys on the green of 5 kind of got rattled a bit by a spectator. It sounded like spectator was stopping his movement as he was putting. Seems a little bit frustrated.
Nash for birdie. Well, we're just getting word, and no final confirmation here yet, but I guess they played a provisional for Chris Dickerson's shot over the water. They ended up giving him the spot safe on the far side of the water. So in theory, that putt would have been for a birdie, but it's still showing as a par on the official scoring. So we will have to see what the situation is.
It could be that he hit on the far side, went back in the water, and they gave him the out-of-bounds spot.
That is possible. And then he made the par save putt. That is most likely right, Brian. So you can see here, they're talking about, it was clearly must have been out of bounds. And the question is, did it cross safe on this side? He played the provisional.
And as a player, Chris is not out here nickel and diming people on calls, too. If he believes that he touched the other side, it's more than likely correct. He's been a player that I've played multiple tournament rounds with him. He plays with integrity. And
well, we saw on the tee shot camera angle that it was going to be very close.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be in there as a par. So he does take the OB stroke, but he makes the 35-footer to save the par. So he is tied at that 11 under mark and would be on the lead card tomorrow if this is where things stand. Zach Nash in for par. Gannon in for par. And Ezra in for a third straight birdie, so he's 3 down through 6. Checking in with Paul Macbeth. Just saw his third shot. Went on to make a par. And so Macbeth 5 under through 8. Well, it's hard to be in the top 10 if you don't go double digits under. More action from Waco next.
I've been really struggling with connection. Yes, connecting can be so difficult, especially in your case, as it's with an audience and not just one person.
Exactly.
Have you tried telling them about Infinite's inventory?
All the time. 100,000 discs.
Right.
Biggest online retailer.
Well, what if you told them something about yourself? Maybe a confession?
What do you mean?
Isn't it true that you faked the ace that you posted in that snow video recently?
I did, but what does that have to do with the whole connection thing? We got the confession. Lemonade, lemonade.
Hey, stop!
Get him.
What are you doing? Hey! I love my jab.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket. These are torque-resistant discs, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself.
DGN's live coverage continues. Ezra Robinson teeing off on the 7th. Coming off Turkey.
It's a similar tee shot to 4, just with a little bit more power. That's actually not a great spot to be. He's too far, he's too left. He's going to have to kind of bend a little forehand around the corner to get to the green. This is how you're going to get that 2. They're calling it an eagle. There's been quite a few of them today.
8.
And that's just fine. That is just fine. This is one of those holes that Humphreys told me has thinned out quite a bit. Nash going to try the big flex. Little bit too nose up on that one.
Is it going to get down there? Not quite.
Tricky. Real tricky to access that green off the tee.
Antela teeing off on the 9th.
Oh, look at this. If you haven't played this course, it's hard to paint the picture of how tough that shot truly is. That was beautiful from Nicklaus.
Great look at hole number 7's fairway and the dip down into the valley for the green. Nate, just want to check in as we kind of open up a little bit out of the woods here. How's the wind feeling here on the 7th fairway?
Yeah, you can't feel it at all on the tee. In the fairway, it's also pretty calm, and up here by the green, it's fully protected. So this card just seems like they're starting to settle in. I almost feel like this is one of the few tournaments where it feels like a disadvantage to go late because the bar has been set so high that the birdies feel like you have to get them all.
Little bit hairy back there on that left side. Still inside circle 1 for Gannon. Birdie putt ahead.
Nate, does it look like Gannon's going to have a look from the woods on the left there?
Yeah, it was trying to work its way back to the circle and got a late kick, and he's behind a couple hackberries and some smilax thorns. I don't think he's going to have a look.
I don't know much about smilax thorns, but it doesn't sound good.
Sounds like one of the happier plants that you'll come across, Charlie.
That's what it wants you to think.
Nash from that stretch out stance just didn't get the height on it. Some players will actually turn that outside foot a little bit to open up the hip, especially if they're close enough to the basket. Nash kind of keeping that foot closed. Yeah, and here's the tricky spot. He's going to have to throw something real high, let it pan, or we're going to try to throw through the clown's mouth, Charlie.
And it works out great. Ezra bullseye. Feels like an example of how that hole has gotten a little bit easier over time.
Most definitely.
It used to be nasty in there.
Nicklaus kind of skying that forehand a bit. And yeah, like you said, Charlie, this used to not be a thing. If you were 2 left, there was no chance for you to get this birdie. And now it's pretty favorable. Yeah. But with the shot being that big flex forehand to get down the fairway, is it appropriate to call it a par 3? If that's the only line that can get you there?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tweener, Brian. I mean, you look at the stats so far today, it's playing .76 strokes under par, so, you know. They've changed holes that were tweeners here in the past. I mean, since Macbeth's 18 under, they've really tightened up to par. Hasn't really changed the course all that much.
It's just for storytelling purposes.
Right.
You look at the stats.
I still think a 2 feels like a special result on this hole.
It's a great 2 to get. Now this spot has not thinned out. Oh no. Bottom of the hill for Zach Nash. It's about a 40-footer from down there. Scariest part is hitting on hyzer. You are more than likely coming right back down.
Long par look for Nash. Great make. What a save from Zach Nash. Take another look. Great concentration.
Very similar stroke to Paul Macbeth, bringing it down really slow to that off leg. Really nice putting stroke there. Gannon amongst the Smilax.
Comes up empty.
And watching the shot to this point, it did not look like it was going to be that bad. And that was a pretty rough lie for Gannon.
We've seen some real frustration from Gannon this round. When we talked to him earlier this week, he said he's been shooting double digits under par in most of his practice rounds.
Hey, aced hole number 8 coming up next in his practice rounds. And he says he loves this place. He really enjoys coming here.
It's another birdie for Ezra Robinson. So that's 4 in a row for him. He's now 4 under through 7. Gannon taps in for par. Let's take a look at where things stand on the leaderboard. Linus Carlson now 10 down through 16. Trying to make a push to the top. He's playing 17 right now. It's on the fairway, so see if he can close out with birdie. How about this? Paul Ulibarri, 8 under through 11. He had a red-hot start, Brian. Got 7 birdies in a row to open the round. Still bogey-free.
There's a lot of Paul Ulibarri fans out there waiting for that big win. Nicklaus on 10. This is leaking a bit left. Oh, nice redirect off the tree. That's right in the middle. And here's Ezra on the shortest hole on the course, hole number 8. Yeah, this one you just got to clock in and clock out. Forehand, you got to be touchy with this. You can't let it skip.
It's been tough rounds for Luke Humphreys.
Well, Luke is a busy man this year, and I spoke to him, and he said, you know, my body feels it. I'm all over the place. I'm running my own, series of tournaments. I'm helping to run a YouTube channel. He's got a bunch of businesses. He is a mover and shaker in the disc golf world, and sometimes it's tough to compete.
Gannon into the bullseye.
That's the way the forehand needs to fall. Really nice. This is one of those shots that plays with your ego a little bit. If you miss this one, you start to feel like, even if you par, it feels like a bogey. It feels like you're falling behind.
Humphreys ends up going a little bit deep, and it's going to have a tricky putt. Luke Humphreys, understandably a popular pick in fantasy leagues and pick contests, given that he's been second place here twice. Almost won this tournament twice. Take a look at a bit of a slow start. But hey, if you heat up on the back nine, you can turn it around pretty quick. One of the times Luke came up just short here at Waco was to Paul Macbeth. Macbeth looking better than he ever has at this part of the season since maybe 2021.
His speed really looks good. The timing looks really solid on the backhand. He looked truly great at Olympus a couple of weeks ago.
Great make for Luke. Huge par save.
You know, making a putt like that, you walk away saying, I should never be in that position again. Not anymore.
Burr to get to 3 down. And he's in. Gannon, bogey free, 3 down through 8, has him tied for 57th. That's what kind of course this is, Brian. Yet another birdie for Ezra Robinson, by the way. That is a 5-pack. Off the cage for Bradley Williams on the second shot. Wow.
And now he's going to be maybe even outside circle 1 putting uphill, but this is a screamer coming in. And you know he released that saying, maybe put a little bit too much mustard on that. But luckily the basket gets in the way. It's a nice spot for Nicklaus. You can kind of choose your shot of choice here.
I asked Nicholas what makes Waco unique, and he said the fact that it's supposed to be super easy, but if you're a little bit off, it's going to be a nightmare.
And a nightmare is playing close to par, and you see yourself fly down the leaderboard. There's a lot of players. I see Grady Shue's name, for example, great round at 9. This is a guy that can shred a course that's challenging. Some of those courses where even is really good. But being good at those courses does not mean you can come out here and sprint. You have to earn these birdies. And we're flying down 9. This is the toughest, most demanding tee shot on the course, in my opinion. Low ceiling. You have to get some flex. The tree line comes up quick. You don't get to drift too far to the right. And then the upshot to the green, just covered in roots. You have to fly the green. Yeah, do that. Do that. Yeah,
the
this
Gannon clap.
Yeah,
that's how you know he nailed it.
Did he learn that from Ricky?
Yeah, they were clapping at each other all at end of last season.
I'm all for it. I want to see it again.
How about some of the shooting we saw from them at the Tour Championship back and forth?
Some of the highest level golf I've seen in quite some time. Oh, a terrible reaction off the ground. And there's just a terrible amount of vines back there on the left. Scrambling back there is rough, and unfortunately, Charlie, I know from experience.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's a nice little smooch off that tree line. And maybe this is the hole that gets Luke Humphreys back on the horse. This is going to be another one of those little A3s up to the green.
Williams for birdie. And in on the 10th after going off the cage on the approach. Onto the in for birdie. His first since hole 6. Paul Macbeth for birdie on the 11th. Oh no. As soon as he let it go, Brian, he knew. That's a painful mistake on this course. Look at the leaderboard. Freddie Meza, 10 under. Jake Hebenheimer, AB, Corey Ellis, Grady Shue, 9 down. Joey Buckets on the leaderboard.
Did he change his name legally?
Maybe he's got the new Buckets last name.
That can't be that much, right? And Brad just playing that right side, getting a little push off to the left. Ezra's second on 9. Really underrated forehand from Ezra. Fortunately gets caught up, but still in the mouth. It's a very specific angle. You want to be down there on the flat. If you can't see the basket, getting to the green is real tough. And we are off in Narnia with Zach Nash. Perkins, talk about scrambling from this left side on 9.
Yeah, Zach in particular is just behind a wall of thorns. He might have to go overhand. But the thing is, you can't throw with too much power when you're scrambling here because it's all about placing it in the right position to hit the window up to the green.
That's going to be just fine. Short of the green, not going to be a putt, but pretty simple up and down.
So we go to the 18th. Linus Karlsson sitting at 10 under. And he's going for it.
Oh, boy.
That never looked like it had much of a chance, Brian.
Yeah, you got that crosswind. It's really tough to push the disc out there and then late let the crosswind help. Too much angle and you're not going to stand a chance. And trick shot master Randy Dewick on the tee.
So he rides that crosswind all along the far side shore. Learned from Linus's shot there. Humphreys into the bullseye.
Ooh, skinny window here. Gannon getting a little bit of a slide, but as you can see, there's a lot of roots almost creating terraces up to the green. You're not going to get too much ground play.
I was just flying and I hit something invisible.
You know, I don't think it was invisible, Gannon.
I mean, they got Smilax thorns out here. Haven't you heard about the invisible bush?
There's a lot of players that would kill for that sidearm. Just a really solid utility that Ezra has in the back pocket. You know, we joke hearing Gannon say that, you know, something is invisible that is disc hit. But you know what? When you're that good, you got to stay confident however you can. And listening to his chatter is some of my favorite things in disc golf.
Gannon has made putts like this in the past. 60-footer for birdie.
Well, we would have been playing that one all season long if he cashed that. That's a really tough one. There's a bit of a drop-off left. Got to be careful here.
Gets it to go. Zach Nash, another great putt. He's had some real highlights today.
And he's getting it done in the woods, too. Once he gets back out in the open, it's going to be off to the races for Zach Nash.
Let's roll the Zuka replay.
Let's get a launch monitor on the putter. That was a rocket out of his hand.
Burr for par. So Gannon finishes out the front nine, 3 under, bogey free. Humphreys in for birdie. Bradley Williams looking for the birdie on the 11th to get to 6 under. And he sticks it. So 5 birdies in the last 7 holes for Bradley Williams. Nice commitment there, dead center.
Yeah, just kept the drive low. Didn't need to get it up on top of the terrace. And capitalizes on the putt. Now Paul Ulibarri. We got old Brad, the caddy. Disc golf legend in his own right. Ranging the shot.
Wow, some of the most wind we've seen all day.
Paul's going to go sidearm with this crosswind going right.
He puts it to 25 feet. And if you want to join Paul Ulibarri for a Jomez practice round, you can buy tickets at select DGPT events on Eventbrite. Got a few coming up. Right next weekend, the Open at Austin, Music City Open in Nashville, Kansas City Wide Open, out in Portland at the Northwest Disc Golf Championship. Also a Worlds preview for 2026. Looking forward to that. Discmania Challenge in Des Moines.
You know, you see Jerm and Yuli on camera, and you see their goofy personas, but in person, when they're playing disc golf together, there's so much history, so much storytelling. Go buy yourself a ticket. Oh my goodness, Charlie. That is one of the longest shots I've seen on this hole. Wow.
591-foot par 4.
And the moment you don't get down to that elbow, the hole completely changes for you. There's just more added steps, not just in shots, but the demands to even save par.
Smooth from Gannon Burr.
Talked to Gannon a little bit about his neck. He mentioned that he was dealing with a neck injury, also had some shoulder problems at Olympus. Told us for now everything's okay.
Gorgeous from Bradley Williams. Back to 13. Yuli for birdie to get to 9 under. Yes! Yuli, 9 down through 13, chasing the leaders. He's 2 shots off the 11 under mark set by Calvin Heimberg, Adam Hammes, Chris Dickerson, Nathan Queen, and Clay Edwards. We've got a sprint on our hands, folks. We'll be back on the Disc Golf Network.
My name is Jimmy Gutierrez. I'm the Dewey Community Center supervisor here, and I'm over after-school programming and summer camp programs. Yes, I'd like to thank the Waco Charity Open, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and the Community Connect Edge Grant.
OTB is very specific on how they list the disc because they want you to like the disc.
Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
Not just marketing.
It's only the best.
Disc golf isn't just a game, it's a lifestyle. And at Paragon Disc Golf, we are proud to be at the heart of it. As the official asset manufacturer for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, we are dedicated to creating the tools that drive the sport forward. From expertly printed apparel and custom jerseys to banners, signs, and event essentials, we help shape the professional and recreational disc golf experience. Paragon Disc Golf. We print disc golf.
Oh, it would sure be something if Paul Ulibarri were to win his first Disc Golf Pro Tour event. He's 9 down through 13. Look at the wind right now. It is howling out here in Waco.
And look at that touchy little shot from Gannon popping the nose up. I remember a couple years ago, this was a shot he would openly say he hated. Now looks like a smooth veteran out here.
Look how far Nash got down the fairway. Just a chip up here for his second shot.
Yeah, I've maybe only seen one or two other people get farther than this. What a shot. Like we were saying, the way he throws the disc, the amount of spin he can get on a backhand, it's going to help him when he gets out into these more exposed holes after 12.
Zach Nash is shooting better than Gannon Burr right now. As we see Ezra Robinson knock it down from the circle's edge, so he's shooting the best on this feature card. That puts him 6 under through 10.
It's almost comical to see the bogey on 1. Ezra's going to go home after shooting a decent day and just say, hole 1, really? How do you bogey that one?
Humphreys in for the birdie. It's a birdie for Gannon. And a drop in for Nash. That's our first star frame of the day for our feature card. Well played, hole number 10. Go back over to the 14th, Yuli. Look at the headwind right now, Brian.
If he gets the angle right, it might play to his advantage. He's playing golf out here, Charlie. He's not trying to just impress us.
He's
unfortunately.
Top 10 right now. One of the best rounds on the course.
Well, 15's playing a lot more like a true par 4 with that OB being put in that middle. Birdie there, 16, birdie. As long as he survives 17, 18, we're going to probably see Paul up there. Forehand play is interesting. Zach going with a slower disc on that forehand. See if Luke can make the correction. You really wonder if players are playing to the base of the hill, if they're actually trying to get up top. And that's going to be at the base. Saw Kristen Tatar play the forehand to perfection this morning. And playing it intentionally on the inside to not deal with the steep slope.
Ezra. Just gets stopped by the last tree, but still inside the circle.
Oh boy. Yeah, back there is going to be no man's land, unfortunately. It's going to be a long putt with a big drop off behind. I'll take my slap on the wrist, Charlie. Kristen Latt. That's my one. I get one.
I think it's going to take some adjusting for everybody.
Pitch up there for Bradley Williams. And it's almost like when Nicholas Antila gets to the knee, his percentages go up. Unbelievable putter from this stance.
Not that time, but Antila hanging in, 5 down through 11, putting for par on the 12th. Uh-oh. Work still to do for Nash.
It was like his brain was thinking Anheuser and his body was thinking Heiser. Yeah, that's that's one where you got to make that putt from the bottom of the hill to make up for it.
For his third straight birdie. Yes.
There's that confident stroke from Luke. It almost seems like when he's confident, the stroke slows down and the disc kind of comes out with that smooth little nose up.
One of the better putters on tour. 22nd in Circle 1 last year. 16th in Circle 2 putting.
We saw that Circle 2 putting on display when he almost beat Gannon last year at this very tournament.
Yeah, he was on fire last year at Waco. Tickles chains, but no dice. Robinson, another birdie. That is now 7 birdies in the last 8 holes for Ezra Robinson, and he's 7 down through 11.
And that one's going to sting for Zach Nash.
Yeah, bogey. Extra painful on this track. Well, we've seen some really nice shooting today from Ezra Robinson, and he was as locked in as we've ever seen him last week at the Supreme Flight Open.
I was mentioning how Luke Humphreys feels like he gets slower and smoother when he's confident. When Ezra's confident, he's throwing hard. This was just an unbelievable technical shot on hole number 16, playing the inside line. He has this tempo when he's playing well that you just know he's locked in. And what an emotional win. And what a group of tour buddies, watching them all grow as players over the years. It's nice to have people in your corner that are just as motivated as you are.
Ezra Robinson, 6-shot win. 6-shot win over Anthony Barella, and only 4 times have we seen a first-time tour winner finish in the top 10 at their next event.
Well, you look at his brother, gets his first win and then gets 42nd in the next. Kyle Klein, very similar story. You work so hard for this victory, you get there, and now what?
It's, I think, very understandable to have a little bit of a letdown in your next tournament. But so far, Ezra Robinson doing well. He's tied for 19th at the moment.
It's all part of the journey. Paul on 15. That needs to sit.
You see the wind pushing left to right, and it does go OB for Yuli. So might be looking at his first bogey of the tournament. Can still get up and down, save a par.
Perkins, talk about hole 12, and is the wind affecting the fairway down there?
Yeah, it's not quite to the fairway, Brian. The canopy's definitely shaking up top, but Yeah, this remains one of the better holes on the course still, even after some down trees in this fairway. Takes a pretty technical shot to get far enough up the fairway to be in position. And this turnover right now is doing just that. Pushing up, stays outside of the rough, and the further left you are up this fairway, the more it opens up that angle up to the green. Prime position there. I think the forehand does play, but you really have to get it to flip up and ride that left wall. You can't just hyzer skip one around the corner. It just won't put you in position. Like this shot right here, FD3, I just don't love it. It's right side. There's really no chance for birdie from there.
That's why I like the shape of this fairway. There's a challenge on both spins. The backhand turnover has that little slope you have to deal with that's going towards the left, and then the flick, that skip takes you out of that ideal landing zone. You still have to move the forehand a little bit. And luckily playing the slope nicely, Zach Nash puts himself into a nice spot. That's all you can hope for with the forehand is a dead skip.
Go back to the 15th. Yuli found the OB, throwing his third on the par 4. The fenced area in front of him out of bounds. Basket on the other side.
Finds the left side. He's going to have a helping wind. Got to get the par on this one.
Edge of circle putt with some wind to deal with. Williams on the 13th.
Okay, makes the Mando. Not too bad. Don't see too many players find that right side like that.
Back over to 15. Yuli to save his par. Got it. The best Circle 1 putter on tour last season. Knocks it down.
His transformation as a putter still blows me away. The belief that he found in himself after struggling for quite some time, and even at some distances having straight up yips. Yeah, just incredible to see him putting the way he's been, even after all this time.
93.3% C1X putting last season. Andrew Marweed second best at 92.7%.
Humphreys from that tough left side. That's going to be okay. Dealer's choice from there. Yeah, going back to Yuli, he went to a sports psychologist because at a certain point he was starting to feel like he just couldn't get to the level he wanted to get to, especially as he was getting into his 30s. And the big thing that he spoke about with that psychologist was belief and just the whole concept behind that. An aging player watching the new generation come up under you sometimes has a tough time believing that you're still the guy. And yeah, I'm excited to watch him continue this year because when you speak to him, the belief is still there.
Three holes to play for Yuli. 2 shots off the lead.
Curious to see if Gannon tries to get all the way up the hill here. He's going to have to really challenge the ceiling. Oh, he's going to try to get a skip.
Rolls down the hill to the left side.
It's a bit of a grab bag down there. Hopefully you have some sort of a gap. Sometimes you get behind some vines and some thorns.
Just outside the bullseye for Williams.
Okay, throwing a flick with the crosswind. Yeah.
Nicely executed. Ezra Robinson, 8 birdies in the last 10 holes.
Another great flick up the hill. This is a two-sided player, Charlie. I'm not buying it anymore. This guy has both sides.
Clearly put a lot of energy into getting better on the forehand.
Him and his brother both.
Indeed.
Nash going touchier backhand. It's going to be deep circle 2.
We see Ezra Robinson walking up the fairway. He was on the Upshot podcast last week after his win at the Supreme Flight Open. And here's what he had to say.
I love Waco, actually.
Oh.
Waco, now that we're just playing Waco, I think I shot, if it was just at Waco last year, I would have been in contention for the rounds that I was shooting out there.
And he's totally right. You take a look at the numbers. Robinson was one of the best out there. Greg Barsby, 22 down through 2 rounds at the Beast, but Ezra right there at 20 under.
Kind of what I love about this place is you look at all the players that have shot really well here, and it just gets you excited to watch disc golf. Just multiple generations that can come out here to this course and put up a hot number. Well done there from Luke, bottom of the hill. It's a tough one. This used to be a par 5. Another one of those holes they've changed the par on because of the scoring spread.
Bradley Williams to get to 7 under with a birdie. Got it. So Williams climbing the leaderboard. Now tied for 21st.
Long one from Nash, not going to fall. Solid day so far.
Yuli on 16. Brand new OB down the middle of the fairway here. Pinches in as you get closer. Gets the green flag.
Man, 14 is just really thinned out over the years. Couple of big trees down.
Gannon having to get tricky here with his 3rd shot. Well done.
Perkins, we're stepping out of the woods right now. As we look at the leaderboard, can you talk to us about what the players are experiencing now that they're back out in the open?
Yeah, just 3 or 4 hours ago, Brian, walking back out onto 13, you would have had a straight tailwind, and now it's almost the exact opposite. It's a head left to right now, and it's actually eerily hazy out here. Sometimes when we get this westward wind in central Texas, the dust will start to blow out from the west. Yeah, this will be an interesting finish to this round, guys.
So, question about Ezra's lie here. Let's listen.
Sorry, what's the question? I can't move this. Is the not attached? She's straddling into it. In his stance, he can move it. No matter where my stance is, because I can.
However far you can reach, right?
My stance is stand here.
Just however far you can reach.
How you can? Yeah. You know, so I can move it.
I'd say so. It comes behind your line.
Yeah.
It's in your stance.
Everybody good with that?
If it's in your stance.
Yep.
Yep.
That's alive. Is that alive? It's still breathing. It's still breathing. Okay, I hate to be this guy.
Another one. That's definitely going to lie. This is
Right.
right here.
Is it a hat? That's a hat. Try to take all the live ones out too.
Should we get somebody out there to clear the brush for Ezra?
Might have to. That's what a caddy's for.
But good work to discuss it with the card. Now he's lining up this birdie putt. Gonna have to settle for a par. Bradley Williams for another birdie on the 14th. You bet. After that bogey on the 3rd, he's been red hot, and he's 8 down through 14. Yuli in a good spot here, throwing his approach on the 16th. He's inside the circle. Paul Ulibarri trying to get to double digits under par. We'll see the putt in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Silva Saarinen with Team MVP. This is my 2025 Team Series proxy. This stamp is personal to me because I took these pictures by myself last summer. This is the new Particle Glow Proton Plastic. It feels great in my hand and it looks awesome at night. I'm Silva Saarinen with Team MVP and thank you for the support.
Well, today's coverage is live for free on the JomezPro YouTube channel, but if you want to keep watching this weekend, you're going to have to get a DGN subscription. And you can save right now if you get a yearly subscription. Just use the code SAVE3months at discgolfnetwork.com. You can scan the QR code now through the end of the weekend and get a big discount on an annual membership. And you can watch Yuli playing tomorrow, trying to chase a win here at Waco. He's got a birdie putt on the 16th. You bet. 10 down, bogey free through 16. A chance to take the outright lead with 2 more birdies.
And Charlie, the wind is down tomorrow. Still going to be a beautiful day. I think this plays to a guy like Yuli's advantage. And this is the shot that I thought Yuli was going to play. You have this crosswind blowing from the road. You throw the backhand, the crosswind shoves your disc right down. Hubfree's forehand on the left side. It's a tighter gap than the camera really gives it justice. And even if you really don't get your tee shot off or you hit something halfway, this is one of the shorter par 4s on the course. One of the shorter ones we see on tour, 558. When you get the tailwind, sorry, 555. And this is cooked from Gannon Burr. That is a putt for eagle.
Oh my.
Probably 50. Didn't get any skip, no skip.
Massive drive from Gannon. There have been 2 eagles today on the 13th, Corey Ellis and Jakub Napek. Corey Ellis, 9 down today with 2 eagles. Look at Nash's shot. Way down there, edge of the circle, into the circle. Huge shot. Well, let's roll back the Zuka replay on this one from Zach Nash. You talk about spin rate earlier, Brian. You can see it coming into play on this shot.
Yeah, it's just going to hold this smooth turn, riding with the crosswind. And then just a massive skip off some thick grass. Must be nice.
Napek got the eagle with a 110-foot throw-in. Corey Ellis had a 10-footer.
Playing down that right side. He's got to put it to a decent spot. A little bit of a tricky crosswind on that putt. Perkins, are we still seeing those 30, 40 mile an hour gusts out here, or has it calmed down a little bit?
It's calmed down just a bit, but it really is all about the gusts. Right now it's, 12 to 15, but every now and then it'll still pick up to 30.
Gets real tricky this direction, especially when you get around the corner to 17 and 18. Makes some of those shots just that much more technical.
Ezra will have a short putt for the birdie. Yuli on the 17th. Puts it right into the landing zone. Eagle opportunity for Gannon Burr. Only a couple steps outside the circle. He said he thought he was at 50 feet, but it's more like 35.
Just looked like a bad read. Maybe thought he was going to get a little bit more shove on that putt.
Surprisingly large miss from Gannon at that range.
Yeah, it looks to be a little bit of a head cross to the right. You definitely want to play this putt a little bit more center, not as much strong side.
Nash for eagle. Can't convert. Man, and he's been putting so well today. Disappointing miss for Zach Nash, but can still get the birdie. Williams second on the 15th. A little bit outside the circle. Feel like we're seeing the players dealing with the wind that they haven't been dealing with for the last hour.
Yeah, they just have to get as many birdies as they can to finish up this round, because tomorrow is going to be a brand new day. They're not going to have to solve these puzzles of the wind each and every throw.
Birdies for Nash and Burr. Tap in birdie for Ezra Robinson. He's now 8 down through 13. And Luke Humphreys in for par. Back to 15. Never got it up in the air enough.
He's kind of got that nose down push putt, headwind. Tough shot. Now we get to Yuli trying to throw that blind approach, and that is not going to play. And a gentle red flag from the spotter.
First big mistake we've seen from Yuli.
At this point, there's no early trees to miss on this hole. There kind of used to be a line. A lot of players were just throwing a forehand hyzer. But now you can just go straight at it, play the wind. Gannon likely to just throw the exact same type of shot as Ezra. That little helicopter.
Beautiful from Burr. Really nice from Nash. Settles down to the bullseye. Bit of a misfire there from Humphreys. We're going to take a quick break. Leaders at 11 under.
Legends built it. The next generation is elevating it. The most dominant team in disc golf history just got deeper. World champions, record breakers, the future of the game, united under one banner. This isn't just competition. It's a legacy in motion. This is the next chapter. Discraft, built for flight.
Welcome back to DGN's live coverage of round number 1 of Waco. Saw Luke Humphrey's layup. Yuli, after going out of bounds, has a kind of a weird one come out of his hand there.
He's had some issues with that range in the past. He used to call it the monkey paw. I haven't seen it from that range in quite some time, though.
Luke in for par. Everyone else on the card putting for birdie. Robinson's in. 9 down through 14. Nash in for the birdie. And Gannon in for his birdie. Back to back for Gannon. For all three of those guys, in fact. Yuli for bogey. So first blemish on the scorecard today. That'll drop him to 9 under, 2 shots off the lead. See if he decides to want to go for it on 18. Take a look at the birdie zone here for hole number 15.
Yeah, you know, the yellow zone is where you want to put your drive. If you're playing for a pretty simple 3, you want to play chicken with that out of bounds bar. But really, even if you misfire, you can still get up and down and save the the par here. But yeah, pretty simple hole. A lot of players are saying they'd rather push the tee up to about 500 feet, make this a tough par 3, maybe make you have to carry 450 to get there. And I might have to agree with that.
Calvin Heimberg, the lone eagle today. He put it to 8 feet off the tee shot. You know, that 11 that Calvin put down all the way back on the very first card of the day looks like it might stand up. Ezra Robinson trying to say otherwise, but
you still have to get through 17, 18. They're still playing the hardest holes in the course, and every player knows that as they turn that corner. That second shot on 17 is just one of the more challenging shots on tour to get right.
17 playing is the 3rd hardest hole on the course, 18 the hardest.
Yep, nice and simple there for Gannon. And this OB change, this addition, is making the whole play a little stale, at least on paper to me. I want to see more players go for this hole. If the ideal play is a chip, and a 3, maybe the spread looks okay, but we can challenge these guys a bit.
You know, if you had a straight tailwind here, it might make the hole a lot more interesting because more players are going to be tempted to go for it. With the headwind, it's so tough to run it.
But it's definitely not a straight headwind. You still have a little bit of cross. You can get some resistance when you're throwing that big flex line. You're going to get a little bit less of a harsh fade. I think if that OB was gone, we'd see quite a few more players run it.
Luke needs that to fight back, and it's trying, but it's not going to get there.
Yeah, talked to quite a few players who really enjoy this course. Talked to Simon, talked to Paul, James Conrad, and the overwhelming majority have said that 15 is pretty much the only one they want to see changed. Williams on 16. That is picture perfect. That is really nice play in the wind there.
To the 18th. Yuli's lining it up.
Lining up the layup, Charlie.
Yeah, you're right. And into the water. Worst case scenario.
A Stockheiser. I don't know any other Stockheiser on tour that makes players make mistakes like that.
Macbeth sitting at 8 under through 16. Into the landing zone on the 17th. So third shot for Humphreys after the OB. Well, we saw Luke Humphreys not quite get back in off that road. The curb keeping him OB, and we bounce back to 2018. We're in the final round. And Mr. Nate Perkins himself throwing some absolute dimes out here to get himself into a playoff with Jeremy Colling. Going over the water. And then we go to the playoff, and this disc clips a spectator and into that same road where we just watched Luke Humphreys go OB. And I want to throw it down to you, Nate. I mean, do you think if all those spectators get out of the way that it's coming back inbounds?
Yeah, I think it has a chance. I can't say for certain. I would have liked to have seen it hit the road, but, it wasn't meant to be. It was just one of those moments that's still a win in my book, though.
You bet, Nate. I mean, what kind of feelings do you get when you step back here to Waco and you walk this course?
This was always a special course for me, even before that tournament. I always loved coming here and walking along the river and throwing discs with my dad at a pretty young age. So to nearly win a Disc Golf Pro Tour here, I've got great memories at this place for sure.
We go back to 18, Yuli. Puts it under the basket. Nicely done. So he will likely take a bogey here on 18. It's going to drop him to 8 under par. Bradley Williams in for the birdie on the 16th. He's at 9 down.
Just fine. A little headwind putt just outside the circle. What do you do with 15, Charlie? It feels like it's had a little bit of an identity crisis over
They
time.
keep changing the hole every year. Okay. FPO needs a new tee pad. They need to shorten it to make a risk-reward decision, because right now FPO is just throwing as hard as they can and coming up short. And for MPO, I mean, even maybe 20 feet closer could make the difference in decision-making in a headwind day. I mean, that's my thoughts. Unless you want to completely tear out the hole and do something else, but they already tried that.
Yeah, and I think the old hole 16 from last year had potential. Gannon for birdie.
Gets it to go. So that's now 7 under for Gannon Burr. A strong finish here, and he might be right back in the thick of the top of the leaderboard.
Nearly jumps out of the tray. Humphrey's good from about 25.
Take another look. Had to double clutch it, Brian.
It was thinking about it. That would have been one of the more brutal spit outs we've seen in a while, but luckily we do not have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, Luke, very busy this year, running his own series of side events, the Go Throw Tour. GK Pro rebranding to Go Throw. We just saw the first event last weekend. The weather wasn't very nice, but kind of a cool series of events they're putting together.
And this is a guy that kind of came up with, like, me and Nate Perkins and Eric Oakley, AJ Risley, that whole generation of players that did a bunch of other things while they were touring.
All right, just a couple holes left to play for our feature cards. People jockeying for position for a sprint finish this weekend. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back on the Disc Golf Network.
If you design, if you test, if you manufacture, there is only one technology partner you need. TriMet Group is the leading provider of design, engineering, and manufacturing solutions for thousands of companies across North America and Europe. Innovation starts here. TriMetGroup.com.
If disc golf is your game, make Gotta Go, Gotta Throw your Disc Golf Warehouse. With a huge selection of discs, bags, baskets, carts, shirts, and more. GottaGo.com has all the tools to take your game to the next level. Shop online or our Golden Valley, Minnesota store. Free shipping with all online orders over $75. Online or in-store, get what you need for the game you love. GottaGo.com, your disc golf warehouse. In the game since 1993.
DGN's live coverage of round one of Waco continues. Thanks for joining us if you're watching on the JomezPro YouTube channel. Great to have you with us. Ezra Robinson out to that left side. I think that's the best spot to be in this fairway for that second shot.
And the OB kind of pushes you in this direction now. There's a bit of a funnel. Players used to rip huge rollers off the tee here trying to get the two, and talked to Simon Lazard. He said almost nobody gunning for the win is going to be throwing shots like that now. Yeah, very conservative tee shot there from Gannon. And this is another one you wish you could see them open up a bit more. You understand why they laid the OB down. Players having to show restraint.
2 eagles today. It's a big misfire from Humphreys, and he knew it immediately. Here's Paul McBeth putting for a birdie on the 17th, and he's in. So McBeth now 9 down through 17.
Paul walked up to Nate Perkins on hole number 1 and said, today is just about survival. I don't know if that disc is going to survive after hitting that rock. That might get chunked up.
Well, I mean, where do you want to be? Obviously, you'd love to have a share of the lead, but how close do you feel like you need to be to the lead going into round 2 if you want to have a chance to win this?
Couple strokes. Like Gannon said, consistency is key out here over 3 rounds. Someone who wins this tournament is going to have that one spectacular day where they shoot that 12, 13, 14 under par. We saw it with Kyle Klein when he won this tournament, his final round. And as long as Paul's within a couple of the lead, he's absolutely in the mix.
Talking about a spectacular day. Well, let's flash it back to 2019, round number 2. Paul McBeth was absolutely dialed.
Well, Charlie, I remember at the World Championship press conference, he was asked about Gannon's season last year and what it felt like to him, and Paul just said, go back to 2019. Look at the season that I had, and he's not lying. You go back and look at that year, Waco being one of those wins, definitely the year of Paul McBeth.
17 under going into 18, parks it for the birdie and locks up his second 18 under performance. And it was so good they changed a bunch of pars on the holes out here. But that still stands up as the course record of 49. It looks for a moment today that Calvin Heimberg might be able to match that number. But Heimberg bogeyed the last 2 holes. Ended up shooting a 53.
Kind of a lackluster shot there from Gannon. It's going to be a circle 2 look. Nate, talk about this additional OB that they've put in on 16. How much different are players playing this hole, and what's the chatter about the change?
Yeah, I think it's a huge difference. It really brings in the risk reward, which in the past it was just bombs away here. So players have to, decide if they want to try and go, inside circle 2 and go over all that out of bounds. And today, at least late in today's round, it's not really an option with the wind ripping in the direction that it is. So tomorrow we're supposed to have the tailwind later in the day, so we should see a few more people go for the eagle bid.
Yeah, I think it changes a bunch of these holes to flip the wind around.
And you know what? As long as on the tailwind day players are still going to run the eagle, I think the change is a good change. At least on the headwind day, there's a little bit more intrigue. There's a little bit more strategy for the days when most of the players can't get there. Another solid shot from Ezra.
Yeah, he's been absolutely on fire since the mistakes on hole 1.
There's a chance for him to take that hot round. Nash went out of bounds on the drive. Sorry, second shot. This is his 4th.
Let's go to 18. McBeth. Going for it.
Trying to play the crosswind. Look how wide he threw this.
Ooh, buzzing the basket. And he skips long, but he's safe and putting for a birdie on the far side.
Looking springy, Charlie. Beautiful line. You have to play it so right to let the wind carry it back to the basket. It takes so much trust to throw this shot. That's a career ace if you hit that. That's unbelievable.
Man. Great shot from McBeth.
I got to say,
and just to be willing to throw over the water here. Back to 16. So I think maybe he threw a provisional and now they're giving him the spot on the far side.
And just like that, rough hole for Nash. You really can't afford any rough holes out here. I I got a feeling the winner is not going to have more than 3-4 total bogeys. What I was saying earlier, Charlie, you look at Macbeth running up the tee on 18, and we'll watch it again as these guys get there. I am just making it clear there needs to be a new tee built that actually looks across the water, or you can make a hybrid tee that lets you go left or lets you go across the water. As you can see, it's going along the left fairway, but they're calling it a par 3 now.
Yeah, I take your point, because they're having to use a much smaller area of the tee pad to throw across the water.
Well, exactly, and it's disc golf, especially on the Pro Tour, is an entertainment product. You want to give the players the best possible footing to throw that entertaining par 3. He's had a few of those today, Charlie. He's had a rough day with putts just outside circle 1.
That one feels more like a spit out than a miss, though. I mean, this looked halfway down.
The pain. I laugh because I know the feeling, and I know all disc golfers out there know that exact feeling. Humphreys at least has a tailwind here.
This is a putt for triple bogey. Well, it's got to be disappointing for Luke, because he knows how well he can play here.
Well, the toughest part is when you shoot around like this, you know very quickly if you're in or out of the race. And now you have to show up for 2 more days, do the best you can.
Ezra Robinson, another birdie. Don't get lulled to sleep here, folks. He's now sitting at 10 down. Absolutely on fire. Make it 11 after the birdie on 16. I beg your pardon. So he has now tied the leaders and has only missed 3 holes since hole 1. Otherwise, all birdies. To the 17th.
Oh, Bradley with just another one of those little tiny flexes he's known for. Nice shot. As long as it stays put, drop in par, solid day out there for Paul. And Charlie, we haven't really spoken about Ezra too much today. We haven't really been keying in. It seems like he's just stepping up to the hole. He's doing his job. He's doing what the hole is asking of him, and he's moving on.
Well, part of the issue is that the other players on the card aren't necessarily having great rounds. So it feels like Ezra's throwing a shot, and then we don't see him putt for a long time. But he's just been piling up the birdies, because it's been no drama, no bogeys since hole 1. And he has a great chance now, if he can stay clean on 17 and 18, to take the outright lead. And what a story it would be if he went back-to-back to start this season. I mean, even AB, when he won his 4 tournaments last year after winning chess.com to start the year, he won them early in the season, but he didn't go back-to-back to kick things off.
Well, when you interview him in previous seasons, he'll openly say, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, because, he's kind of a dry sense of humor, he'll say, I'm living in my brother's shadow. He'll jab his brother every now and then, but in the back of his head, he wants this just as badly as Isaac does. And I remember watching him grind his putting stroke over the course of a few weeks, right when he started popping off for the first time. And now he's in some of the best shape of his life. The putter looks better than it's ever looked. Truly has the whole package.
When we interviewed him on the Upshot, he said he's lost 40 pounds from a couple years ago when he started on tour.
I if you're not in shape, it's hard to stay out here all year.
That's what he said. Like stamina was becoming an issue on some of the longer, hillier courses.
You finish your practice rounds, you're sore, you almost don't want to go back out and put extra work in. Just another guy who's become a full-on contender right alongside this guy right here.
What do you like about 17?
I love that the opening tee shot is forgiving. It's easy to stick it in bounds, but it becomes a choose-your-own-adventure. You play it long, completely different shot than if you play it short and inside, and there's ways to birdie from both. If you don't get it above this hill, and Nash is doing it perfectly if it sits down, now you can see the basket. Now you can make a more educated guess of where to throw with the wind. But when you're tight on the inside, you're throwing it up to the heavens and hoping it sticks.
Williams 9 under. And despite being just 2 shots off the lead, is tied for 19th. Going over on the 18th.
Nicholas trying to play that same line Paul did, a little bit more flip than Paul. And that plays to his advantage. There you go, just outside C1. What do you like about 17, Charlie? I think it's one of the iconic holes out here on the tour.
Well, I always like a hole where the approach shot is the more interesting shot. And the psychological pressure of the water on the left side is fantastic. We've seen some wild tee shots, tomahawks over the top.
These 2 trees on the corner, some of the most influential trees on a hole that you could possibly have.
And perhaps, along with the tomahawks, this the most iconic shot on Waco 17. Valerie Mondahano chasing her first Pro Tour win with a brutal headwind, throwing the backhand, which fades towards the water.
You see the crosswind instantly say nope, pushing it off to the right, but the stability of the disc just snaps back once you get down to the bottom of the hill.
And that basically locked up the tournament for her.
Multiple-time champion on the tour. Still young in her career. But yeah, Charlie, here's option A. We're short of the trees. He might have a tiny look at the green. And you have to challenge the ceiling a little bit. Gannon lining up pure hyzer here. And you got to watch the nose angle too. You don't want you get your disc flipped over.
Almost puts it in. What a shot from Gannon Burr. Parked for the birdie.
That's a 2 to remember right there. I mean, he probably didn't even get to watch that go in. Perfect shot from Gannon. That would have been a little nifty.
Oh, yeah. Not quite as special as Macbeth skipping in on 18, but Nash sending out a wider forehand.
Yeah, that's
off the base.
That's prime real estate up there. Just past the trees. You're not on the downslope. Your footing is still good.
Co-leader Ezra Robinson.
Oh my God.
Oh, my goodness. It's safe. And was that gone if she wasn't standing there, Brian?
I feel like that should count. We'll let Ezra be the one who
Watch
says
this
my answer.
again, folks. So she tries to get out of the way, and there's just no chance that that stays in bounds. That's going to roll right down into the water.
I feel like that should count. I don't have much to say there, Charlie.
A lot of times it feels like the spotters, when they inadvertently get in the way of a disc, are causing them to stay out of bounds or to go out of bounds. And in this case, a lucky break for Ezra. And he's going to have a birdie putt. And it's hard to even fault her because the way that disc skipped was not a natural skip.
It was a forward skip. It was a bad reaction or unexpected reaction. And speaking of which, that is brutal, especially where it just rolled out of bounds.
Yeah, you just heard a card mate ask him if he's going to re-putt, and that's what he does. So, Ansela going into the water, ends up taking the bogey, dropping him to 5 under on the round. Just too slow a back nine for Niklas. Only one birdie.
And you start to wonder, you know, where do you put a spotter on 17's green to see the shots coming in and also be able to run up and get a good spot, because there's a lip going to the water. You want to be close to that lip. Just a wrong place, wrong time. Humphreys for par, right side of the green.
Another nice putt from Luke Humphreys.
And what a birdie this would be.
To take the solo lead, and lays it up without much question. And
might be a little guilt.
One back there?
Might be a little guilt wrapped up in that. There was no reason to lay that one up. But you know what? Play with integrity.
I mean,
not required, but
that is spirit of the game.
It's like getting slammed. It like falls out
I don't know if that was the intention. We'll certainly have a chance to ask him about it after the round. I think maybe that just came out of his hands. With the wind pushed it down, but so a little conversation there with the spotter as well. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights from Ezra's round today.
yeah, going back here to 4, he's playing the inside route. These are some of these really technical turnovers that he lands somehow really nicely, even keeping them low. And then the beautiful backhand turnover on 6. This is what I've seen him improve maybe the most at, besides the putter, over the past couple of years. And then, yeah, right here, speaking of which, it's just that rocket spin putt. Seems like his range is limitless. And speaking early in the round about his search for the perfect driving putter, it seems like he's starting to find them. Got the turnover putter on 6, got this straight one here on 14. These are the shots that are going to win him a major championship. If he continues to do these consistently and continues to give these shots respect.
I mean, he's had a look at birdie on 14 of 16 holes so far. And the stats haven't updated for 17, but he was inside circle 2 there as well. Put an asterisk on it perhaps. But that means 15 for 17 birdie looks.
Might want to go give the basket of one a wet willy before he goes home. The one blemish starting out his day. Now Gannon on 18. Yeah, you see these guys have to start way off the pad, and the front of the tee is really the right corner. So you actually have to be a lot more precise with the feet than a normal tee shot out here. Hard right to left cross.
Circle 1.
Little headwind putt with the water behind. Tester to finish off his day for birdie.
It would get him to 9 under, 2 shots back. And I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that that could matter.
Absolutely.
Every stroke on this course.
Oh, killer. Rolls just out of bounds left. That thing came in with some heat.
Ezra going across the water, trying to birdie here on 18 and take the solo lead into Saturday.
Love him keeping it low on that tee shot. Let the crosswind drag him, get that forceful skip.
Safely across. Humphreys will have a chip up for a par. We'll want to go back down to Nate Perkins on the ground and just get your final thoughts on a very compelling opening day of disc golf here, Nate. What did you think of what we saw here on Friday?
Yeah, I really love this course, and it's one of those tracks that has remained unchanged over the years. And it feels like someone dialed the wind up perfectly today to just make it interesting all day long. Super windy for FPO, and then the wind just switching directions halfway through the men's round. So some players had headwind to start and headwind to finish. It's just been a great day for disc golf, and I think it's only going to get better throughout the weekend.
Couldn't agree more. We have 2 more rounds, great weather, wind's dying down a little bit. Like we said, someone's going to shoot that heater. You're not going to see someone averaging less than 30 under par for the weekend, or 10 under par per round for the weekend.
Well, as players head to their lie on the 18th, just take a look once again. If we only played the Beast last season, 2 rounds, look where Ezra Robinson was. I mean, he was one of the best players out here, and he's showing you how he's been able to put that together again today.
Well, in 2020, when Colton Montgomery won this tournament, 20 under par was the mark he had to hit. Course like this, that Doesn't change too much.
We've seen some of the lowest rated players that have won tour events win here 3 times. We've seen a sub 1025 rated player win at Waco. That's the most of any Pro Tour event. And it's got that old school vibe. I mean, more birdie opportunities for every player out here than on most courses. Humphreys onto the green. Disappointing day overall for Luke.
And a lot of these people, we watch the scorecard or this leaderboard throughout the weekend. Anyone can shoot a double-digit round out here. I've heard stories of staff members, locals coming out here and shooting in the double digits. But can you do it under pressure with the camera for 3 straight days against the best in the world?
Can be a bogey close for Zach Nash. Frustrating, but altogether a pretty good day. Going to finish at 6 under par. Ezra Robinson gets the birdie. Easy as you like. And he is your solo leader at 12 under par heading into round number 2.
Just one of those days you're going to put the bag down and not even look at it until tomorrow.
Gannon to get to 9 under and within 3 shots of the lead. Out again. Wow. That was left side, Brian. But I don't think Gannon's going to be saying much thanks to these baskets after this round.
We say that, but then we look at some of these short putts he's missed.
Oh, he's
They're
definitely
all on the weak side,
Yep.
and he putts with force. He putts with spin. He knows what side of the basket he's got to hit. And, again, another one of those days, Gannon's going to go home and probably not chalk it up too much and just say, you know, the putter didn't feel good today.
Well, I want to thank 1010 Discs for the commercial-free coverage of the final 3 holes out here. They made that possible this season, so appreciate them. And a wild first day here at Waco. 10 players hit double digits under par. Take a quick look at the leaderboard. Brian, Ezra Robinson getting it done here. 12 down today and room to do better tomorrow. One big takeaway before we talk more on Tournament Central.
I think my entire perspective around him as a player has changed today. Watching the forehand come out as many times as it came out, the confidence that he has in it, he threw slower discs, he threw faster discs, and he did all of that well. He's not a backhand dominant player in my eyes anymore. Yes, that's what he leans on, but I think both are completely proficient, and I'm super impressed watching him play.
You know, it's so interesting to watch him, you know, make some mistakes on the first hole, and you think, makes sense. Coming off the wind, you know, maybe come out and have a little bit of struggle. And then he shoots 13 under the rest of the way, and he's in the lead of this tournament. And welcome back inside the broadcast booth, by the way. Lot to talk about in Tournament Central. It's all coming up right after this.
Shopping online should be easy. That's why we built the best experience possible. Easy navigation, powerful filters, and lightning fast shipping, all at the best prices. 1010 Discs, reimagining excellence.
Somewhere in a random hotel in North America.
Can we even compete against this?
I wouldn't waste all your focus now, rookie.
Some days they just fall in.
It's a test of strategy, timing, and karma. Do you have what it takes? Order your game today.
Great news! Uplay and the PDGA share a mission to provide education and support for healthier lifestyles through the sport of disc golf. By joining the PDGA, your membership dollars are directly at work for these amazing programs, introducing and producing disc golf players all over the world. Support our programs by joining the PDGA or donating here.
Bomb Discs is Kentucky's disc golf headquarters. If you're ever in town, you gotta come and check us out. But until then, you can find us online at bombdisc.com.
Describe your relationship with disc golf.
I don't have a relationship with disc golf.
You're telling me you have no relationship with disc golf?
I do not recall.
Welcome inside Tournament Central following round number 1 here at Waco. Ezra Robinson has a one-shot lead over Calvin Heimberg, Adam Hammis, Chris Dickerson, Nathan Queen, and Clay Edwards. Nathan Queen and Clay Edwards will have to play from the chase card tomorrow. What a stacked lead card we're going to have tomorrow afternoon.
Can't wait. And you look at a lot of these names, you see some East Coast shredders kind of popping off here. Nathan Queen, Clay Edwards from Charlotte, North Carolina, Dickerson, one of the best woods players probably of all time for a lot of people. You got a lot of guys that come out here and they're licking their chops, ready to sprint to the finish.
Let's shout out to some West Coast guys too. Freddie Meza up at the top of the leaderboard as well. Macbeth at 9 under. Lots of guys still in the hunt. Kyle Klein, past champion here as well. AB lurking at 9 down. Oh man, it's going to be a very fun weekend because we just saw the toughest conditions that the players are going to face. Yuli had a great day, 8 under par. I mean, I think guys down in this range still have a chance. Gannon at 8, you can't count him out here.
I think 8 might be the cutoff.
That's fair.
Because
too many players above you.
It's going to be 30 under or better at the end of the weekend. And you're going to have to shoot something spectacular if you come out here with an 8 down. You got to come with a 12 tomorrow, and then you have to come out with probably another 12 on Sunday. But any one of these guys can shoot that 14, 15 under, but can they survive the tougher holes in the backstretch?
Yeah, that's going to be the question for sure. Let's take a look at some highlights from Ezra Robinson, and Brian, maybe we'll get a chance to see him throw one of these forehands here, but I thought it's interesting you keyed in on this, that you think he's a two-way player now. I mean, he's been a backhand dominant guy. I mean, we talk about the Robinsons as like backhand only type players. Do you think you're seeing something new from Ezra right now?
I'm seeing more confidence in the decision to throw the forehand. Sometimes, years past, I've played multiple rounds with him in tournament, and you see a lie and you go, how is he going to manufacture a backhand from here? Now, I don't really think I'm going to have these thoughts, especially after watching him throw him this round. And it wasn't like he threw 20 forehands, but he threw enough, and the release was clean on all of them. That makes me think that we might be seeing more of it in coming years. I know he throws the backhand because it's his bread and butter, it's his comfort zone, but clearly the other side is starting to become that too.
That was his fourth of 4 birdies in a row there on 16. He went on to birdie 18 as well to take the outright lead, and now he's standing by in the clubhouse with Nate Perkins.
All right, we're here in the clubhouse now with Ezra Robinson. 3-putt to start your day, and then you go off and shoot a 12-piece. Talk about it.
Yeah, I got it to hole 1. I was actually pretty nervy. I was pretty shaky, and the sun was really beaming down, so I was feeling kind of overheated a little bit. But just made it through the gap a little bit, and then just ran the putt, and then 3-putted in, and I didn't think the round would go well after that, honestly.
Well, I mean, outside of your win at the Supreme Flight Open, you've played well at this course. You, I think only one player played better than you last year here when we had the 4-round tournament. Talk about how comfortable you feel with the lines here.
Yeah, I think it being the shortest course you play on tour, and most of it is putter or mid-range wood technical shots. I love those. Isaac and I both, we love them. So we both really love this course, and the distance, everything's in our distance. We don't throw, 600 plus feet like we're having to on the golf courses these days. So this is really nice just to play a shorter course and hit lines.
Well, I think one thing is clear now, Ezra. You're a two-way player. Do you feel that way on the inside?
No. I really don't. But when I'm pinched or I have to throw a forehand, I can. And they were okay today, so I'll take it.
They were more than okay today, and I want to ask you about one. Talk to us about what happened from your perspective on 17.
17. So I throw. It felt good for a forehand, so I thought it was great. And then it kind of got slammed into the wind, and then kind of got a little Annie skip into the spotter, the lady spotting down there, hit her right in the legs, and it stayed in bounds by about this much. So huge shout out to her. Thank you. Saved me an OB stroke, and then I just absolutely whiffed the putt. So whatever. But yeah, that was very, very lucky, and I felt bad taking it, honestly.
Well, you took down the first Pro Tour. You're leading here. Everything seems to be going your way, Ezra. What are we going to see from you tomorrow?
I'm just trying to stay focused and just slowly shred again, hopefully. All the wind. I think it's supposed to be a little less windy, so hopefully it's a little easier, but that means it's easier for everybody. So.
Well, thanks for your time, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Disc Golf Network.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So Ezra will be on the lead card tomorrow. The only time we've seen a player win the first 2 Pro Tour events of the year was back in 2017. Paul McBeth took down the Memorial and the Nick Hyde. And Ezra Robinson right now in pole position to do it again here in 2025.
I think this is the case because players, especially more and more each year, go into the offseason knowing that they have to up the bar. They have to up the bar for themselves. They know the other players are going to be trading hard because of what Paul McBeth has done over the course of his career to push everybody else. And people are fresh.
Take a quick look at the stats from Ezra Robinson. Very solid. 90% C1X. He went 9 for 10. He hit 1 of 4 Circle 2 putts. And, I mean, when you're north of 2/3 Circle 1 in regulation, you're playing very well. And certainly he was doing that today as we welcome you back in the booth. Brian Earhart, Charlie Eisenhood. Brian, okay, he said he's not a two-way player, that he can throw a forehand when he's forced to. What do you say to that?
That's, I think, what you're supposed to do. The fact that he can get into a position and say, oh, my bread and butter is not working. oh, this shot also is really solid. That's disc golf. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't have to treat it like a computer, like, oh, what's the most optimal shot to throw on this? You can still play to your strengths, but the fact that he thinks those forehands he threw today were okay, that proves my point, and that it proves my thought even more that this guy is really good. He's got a pretty deep bag with the forehand. It's not like he has to overshape it like Big Germ, but it's a pretty solid utility in the back pocket.
All right, well, I want to talk about some of these players who are 11 down, one shot back. The interesting thing about it is that a bunch of them we didn't really see play today, or not much. They were on early cards. So Calvin might have been the hottest player on the course. I mean, absolutely ripping hot coming into 17 and 18 where he gave 2 back. You got Adam Hammis, Chris Dickerson, Nathan Queen, Clay Edwards. We saw a little bit of Nathan Queen. We saw a little bit of Chris Dickerson, but the other guys we basically didn't see much at all. I think we saw Adam Hammis on 18 perhaps. What stands out from that grouping of players, and do you have any sense of what we might see tomorrow from them?
Well, Nathan Queen and Clay Edwards shooting the 11 down, yeah, it's surprising if you watch a lot of disc golf. You don't see these guys tied for second and going into round 2 often. However, if you're on the East Coast, you're not surprised whatsoever. You know these guys as shredders out there at all the local A tiers. You're going to see Clay or Nathan at the top at one of these events across the year. And the other thing is Clay's had some success over in Europe. Clay sometimes will spend a decent amount of time over there playing those short technical tracks. So I'm not too surprised that a course like this gives him a bit of an advantage.
And when you look down the leaderboard, we've got some names like Nicola Castro. He's won this tournament. Greg Barsby was shooting great today. I mean, is there any way to even really project what happens tomorrow besides more fireworks?
I wish I had a more complex answer, Charlie. I normally do, but you can't. It's a roll of the dice. Any player, especially one with experience, can show up here and shoot 17 under par if they want to. It just takes execution.
Well, I want to bring Nate Perkins back in with us. Nate, thanks for joining us here in Tournament Central. You got a chance to watch it all unfold today and see the wind conditions out there firsthand. With the wind dying down tomorrow, I mean, people shot super hot rounds today despite the wind. Are we going to see somebody match Macbeth's course record this weekend?
I don't think anyone's breaking the 50s this weekend, Charlie. I mean, we say that the wind's dying down, but you can't trust it until you're actually here and you're feeling it. Because I'm looking at the wind radar, and while it doesn't look as intense as the one today showed, it's still going to have gusts upwards of 30. So, history tells us that it's still going to be windy in Waco tomorrow.
Nate, what's the chatter amongst the players out there on the ground? It's a beautiful day. I mean, the wind is obviously ripping, but what is the feeling of the players out there? Do they still feel like they're going to have to shred tomorrow to win this tournament?
Yeah, no question, Brian. It's, you've always compared it to trying to bowl a 300. You're trying to just bowl strike after strike. And I think that regardless of conditions or not, that's what the players feel they have to do. They know that someone's going to get the first 7. They know that someone's going to shoot 6 on the back 9. Like it's the type of course where that's going to happen no matter what. So, but outside the golf, Brian, I mean, the general feeling out here at Brazos Park is great. I mean, this is the course where I feel like players kind of set up the most to watch other players play. There's a spot on behind 17's tee where players are kind of setting up their camping chairs. They're practicing putting or watching people tee there. But then if you're standing near the landing zone of 17 and behind 18, it is just amazing the shots that you see rolling through there, the kind of lulls in the wind that you'll see, and you'll see players trying to throw over the pond on 18 into ripping wind. So this course really has stood the test of time, and it's a great stop for the Pro Tour.
No doubt about it. Well, Nate, thank you so much for joining us, and looking forward to seeing you out there again tomorrow.
Yeah, can't wait. Happy to be a part of the broadcast, guys. Good job today.
You too. Nate Perkins with us here on Tournament Central. Brian, it's time for the OTB shot of the day. What stands out?
I would say Zach Nash's drive on 10 or his drive on hole number 15.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the two.
That drive. He didn't convert the eagle putt. You got to get that one. I think I might go Macbeth on 18 because of just how visually exciting that was. Of course, he ended up not making the putt either. But
yeah.
Let's roll the tape. OTB shot of the day. Here we go.
I think both of us got it wrong.
That's just the vibe that you get seeing the.
Yep.
It's going to be a Ezra on the 11th.
That was a shot of the day.
That was a shot thrown today. I mean, a very clean tee shot from Ezra, and we saw a lot of that. I mean, emblematic of what he was doing out here today, and he gets the credit for his 12 under par effort. So, lots more action coming your way tomorrow. It's going to be an awesome day. FPO coverage tomorrow morning. We'll have our lead card of Henna Blumroos, Jessica Weiss, Kristen Latt, and Owen Scoggins, with Ella Hansen, Holland Handley, Evelina Sallin, and Cadence Burge on the chase. That starts at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern with Tournament Central. And then tomorrow afternoon, MPO, your lead card, Ezra Robinson, Calvin Heimberg, Adam Hammis, and Chris Dickerson, with a lot of players within 3 shots. So don't miss it. If you don't have your DGN subscription yet, you can get one right now with code SAVE3 months. Buy yourself an annual subscription and save. For Brian Earhart, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we will talk to you tomorrow from Waco, round number 2 in Waco, Texas. See you then.